started.
Nacho Mama. Okay, cute name. Let's see, d4 I think. Time to play d4. Let's see what we get. Okay, this could be a King's Indian or a Grinfeld. King's Indian. Okay, so I have been experimenting with the fianchetto system against the King's Indian. I want to try and learn how to play this. Okay, he goes with c5. It's unsupported there, so I can take it. I'm sure he can round it up pretty quickly, and it doubles the pawns. I think I should push on. I could ignore it and develop a knight, planning to take back with a knight, but let's go for this this kind of center setup. The pawns on the light squares here. Okay, so he's provoking f3 here. So I have this big triangle, and this bishop on g2 is looking at pawns, so it's not doing a whole lot now, but maybe it can come out along this diagonal. I could play that now, in fact, bishop to h3. He doesn't have to trade bishops, so he could just block with e6, which is probably what he wants to do.
Server announcement.
So I think I'll continue with knight e2. The one thing I like about this g3 move against the King's Indian is that you don't usually fall victim to a quick kingside attack. You know, he's trying to play b4, and I want to stop it, so I'll play this move a4. He's trying to play b5, rather. Trying to chase this knight away. This is a good knight, and I want him to stay there for a while. So I'm going to castle and then maybe expand on the king's side, perhaps pushing forward with f4 and e5. Something like that. I might want to get my king off this diagonal first. The bishop can come in here. Okay, so he plays b4 anyway, b5. Yeah, he's taking advantage of the pin on this rook. I didn't spot that. So that means I need to kind of shore up the pawns here. If he takes here, I can just take back, but he can take the c-pawn. You know, I think I will ignore that and let the c-pawn go. Let's develop the bishop. So I'm threatening to take. Maybe I can put the bishop here. Maybe it'll provoke him to play b4. Well, if he plays b4, where is the knight going, though? I should think about that first, I guess. The knight has to go back. And out again. Yeah, it seems a bit awkward. Let's see. Bishop here, pawn to b4, knight to a2. Not looking that great. And from a2 it could come out to c1 to d3. Yeah, maybe that's okay. Let's see what he does. I'm not so worried if he just takes the pawn. That's probably okay. I think. I mean, he'll have an extra pawn, but it's a doubled pawn, and probably I can win that back without too much trouble. Yeah, so he just took. Tempted by that, and there's no great discoveries here. It's not like my knight can push forward. Can take anything with an attack or tempo on his queen. So I have a loose pawn on b2, but the knights are secure. King is on this diagonal. Let's get the king off that diagonal, put the queen to c2, and then prepare to push these pawns forward. Let's see. Yeah, he's not having an easy time in development either. His knight's got nowhere to go at the moment. He's going to have to reorganize his forces a bit. His bishop has no great squares. It's looking at my a-pawn, but that's securely defended at the moment. And you know, after queen c2, I have the idea of f3 and e5, f4 and e5, kicking this knight, and then my knight can move with tempo. Okay, so he just drops his queen back. Okay. Do I still want to play queen c2 just to connect the rooks? I think so. Let's see. This pawn is now under a bit of an attack, so it's not so easy to play e5 here. Okay, he dropped his queen back. Maybe he's going to trade off the light squared bishop. That would be okay. That's not a problem. I can start with this move, f4. Maybe I could even play on with f5 rather than e5. f5 would shut in this bishop. And after he takes and I takes, I take. This knight is, I mean, this pawn is not loose at the moment. Yeah, let's go ahead and try f5. He has to do something about the bishop.
Check.
Which he can do with a check, so not like that's a big deal. Okay, this e-pawn is defended. And if he takes here, this d-pawn is defended. And I have knight or bishop coming to f4. Maybe bishop g5, knight f4. As a way to continue here. Get the pieces closer to the king. Okay, so he's ignoring these pawns and preparing to play knight to e5. Or his knight could come into some of these squares, particularly knight to d3 there might be an annoying move. Okay, so knight f4 now. How about bishop g5 first? Then now I can take on g6 there. See how he wants to take back. Maybe he'll take back with the knight and leave the g file open. Maybe he'll take back with a pawn, open up either the f or the h files. So I've got a little pressure on this knight. Is there a way to increase it? Bishop takes, rook takes, pawn takes. Undermines the d-pawn here. Here, let's start maneuvering my knights in. It also guards the d3 square. So I'm not sure what's going on here exactly, but I don't think black has any kingside attack. I'm not sure I'm doing a whole lot either. It's not easy to see how I make progress here. Knight to e6 maybe. Knight e6, pawn takes. It's still not looking like it does a whole lot. Okay, I could play queen to e2. I'm looking at the c-pawn here. I'm looking at the king side. Maybe I really want to play h4, h5. Knight takes, pawn takes, queen takes. Or maybe I want to double on the f file. Is that an idea? Okay, so he's going after my bishop. And this is dangerous, right? The bishop is nearly trapped. So I just defend it with a pawn. He can even play he can play f6. So I should probably defend it with the knight. Yeah, you got to watch out when your pieces get into awkward positions. You got to make sure they have some retreats if they come under attack, or plans to rescue those pieces that are out there. If he takes, it brings my knight to a good square on g4, looking at g5, looking at f7. Yeah, f7 is defended though by the knight and the rook. I still don't see. I think doubling on the f file is probably my best shot here. Okay, he took. Can his queen come in somehow? His queen could come into g4, can't it? So maybe if he lets me, I should play rook to f4. Ah, so he went knight to g4. I don't think that does much, right? The knight is looking at this square, and this square. They're all covered. Is he going to reroute back to f6? Okay. Anyway, I wanted to play rook f4 anyway. And I don't think he can defend the knight there. I was not tempted by queen takes c4. The action is over here on the king side. And let's see, I don't think he can defend the knight with like a pawn move. I can just take the pawn. It's not going to kind of fall apart there. I'll have knight to e6 if he moves the f pawn. So his best move is probably just to move his knight back to e5 where it came from. There it goes. Okay, what next? He's still not threatening to play f6 because of knight e6. That looks like a good answer. So, well, let's start. Let's double the rooks on the f file. Maybe, if I could get my queen in somehow, that would make all the difference. I guess that's the point of pushing the h-pawn. H-pawn up to h5, and I can, if he takes, the queen comes in and threatens mate. So he won't take, and then I can take and maybe get some pressure here. More pressure on f7. But he's got 1, 2, 3 defenders counting the king. Ah, he's going to chase the knight away that way with the bishop. That's true. So do I want to sack the exchange here? This is a place where I can give up a rook for a bishop and a pawn. And that seems useful. Useful, but maybe not entirely correct. Yeah, his queen can once again come to g4. That's the problem here. Knight to g4. He just likes that knight g4 move. I'm going to go back once again. And now maybe the h-pawn comes forward. Should I do something with my knight, though? Bring that one in, the other knight. I could get that knight here, here, here to that square. Yeah, I would really like to get my queen to h4 here. So how to do it, though? Let's start with the pawn push. Yeah, this is just a real good knight here on e5. He really doesn't need to move it. He can just, yeah, he can do that. He can do that. But where is the knight going from there? So, but I have to move my rook here. I don't want to give up another rook. I go here. I think I can defend it with the queen. Queen can defend from f1 or f3. And then I can break the other knight in. So notice that he's playing without his rook in the corner, and I haven't really got this knight active. So if I can activate this knight before he gets this rook in the game, the fact that I'm down the exchange doesn't really matter. And I have some kind of space advantage here. Things are a little bit cramped around his king side. Is it possible to play the immediate... Okay, no, he's hitting my rook, so let's make sure that's defended. I was about to say, is it possible to play the immediate h5? Pawn takes, queen takes, threatens mate, so he has no time to take the rook. But yeah, so that hits my queen. So I need to stay in touch with the rook. I go here, he can go back to where he came from. All right, drop all the way back to here. So, knight to, yeah, he likes to move that knight around. What can I say?
Check.
Ah, now he's got it. Now he's got me. Well, that was a good game. He beat me fair and square there. Okay.
White resigns.
Anyway, we'll take a look at that in the postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.